Hi guys, Alex here. Quick video about being productive. These are 3 things that have helped me multiply my output quite notably. And I've spent my whole life either really sucking at productivity and having lows of, days and weeks where nothing really much happened. And then spurts here and there where I got excited about something and I just sort of was on it, and maybe I've been eating too much sugar and drinking too much coffee. But these 3 things have helped me notably increase my output in a way that I wanted to share because I think it's going to help you. So being productive, just very quickly, why would you want to be productive? It's pretty clear. It helps create and contribute more for the world. That's going to bring more attention to you and your brand. It's going to help you make more money. It's going to help you get out of your head and be happier. It's a kind of self-perpetuating cycle. If you can stay productive, stay active, you're going to be out of your mind and in a creative mode, which is a healthy mode that keeps my mood at least lifted. So productivity has been useful, and for me, as someone who creates a lot of content and videos and articles and enjoys that process, but sometimes doesn't always feel like doing it, and sometimes can kind of get lost in a sort of cycle of not really bothering and allowing that motivation to peter out, I have found that these 3 things that I'm going to share with you now have been a really useful way of keeping things structured and giving me some boundaries, and ultimately creating a much more productive outflow of videos, podcasts, and articles and more. So the first piece of this 3-piece puzzle when it comes to increasing productivity is creating a publishing schedule that you create advanced content for. This could be a time and a place for publishing a piece of art by, for example, or an article or a video. It could be that, say, Tuesday afternoon before 3, you post and publish a new article. So you have an awareness in the next week, the next months, exactly what days and by what time you have something completed by. It could be something published, it could be something that gets completed, it could be something that's a milestone along a longer trajectory. But the key thing is that you have clarity on what gets done and when, so that you are able to create content in advance. So it's not so good to have a deadline for, say, an article on a particular day, but you spend the last few hours of that day before the deadline rushing something together. Now, you want to make sure that you're creating a publishing schedule, but at the same time you have advanced content built up. And we'll get to how to do that in a second. So that's the first aspect of being productive. The second is having human accountability. So you have someone that you have buddied up with who makes sure that you are in touch with over time, so that you are actually held accountable for doing this stuff and publishing at the right time and getting stuff done in advance. You have someone who's continually checking in with you, ideally once a week, or you might have someone that you talk to via Slack or email that you've made an agreement with to help hold you accountable and make sure the stuff gets done. So having a kind of human accountability partner is always really powerful, because there's this thing in all of us, because we're social beings, we don't want to let someone down, especially if we've made an agreement with someone. There's something very powerful about making agreements, and if we fall short of that, we kind of create this sense of shame in us, which we want to avoid. And by having the accountability, it's a lot easier to avoid bringing that shame on by simply doing the work and actually getting stuff done by the deadline. So having a human accountability partner, a pet would be a bit weird, but a human accountability partner, but also to add flavor to that and to add a bit of spice to that, include the risk of losing money into that accountability agreement. So you can have an agreement with someone whereby you give them $30, $50 if you are not able to deliver whatever it is, whatever piece of content it is by that time, and they can accept the money, or they can give it to a charity that you don't like on your behalf, right? So that every time you kind of risk not doing the thing, you have in your mind, oh, I'm going to lose this money, and I might even lose it to some charity or some organization that I don't even support. Stick.com is one such platform that allows you to do that, and you can do that with your accountability partner. Very powerful stuff. Money and accountability is going to help you solidify that need to want to complete the work in accordance to the first step, which is in creating that publishing or completion schedule. And you want to be fairly reasonable, but maybe stretch yourself a bit. So every week you want to create a schedule of stuff. There's a bit of a stretch for you, and you might even go beyond that eventually, but you want to really be pushing yourself a little bit, and it's possible with accountability and a publishing schedule that is concrete and clear. Then it just comes down to you just doing it and showing up and creating. The third aspect kind of ties into the first, which is to batch the creation of the stuff, right? To batch, say for example, video production, rather than last minute creating a video because you have a publishing schedule that says on Tuesdays you need to post a video, and putting a video together on the Tuesday last minute and rushing it. What you want to be doing is getting yourself into a state, say several days or weeks in advance, on a particular day or a particular afternoon where you're in a good state, you haven't been eating junk food, you've been exercising, and you're in the ideal productive state, ideally, or you might just not even feel up for it, but you still dedicate that time anyway, to creating as much around a particular content area or content medium as you can. So perhaps on a Saturday afternoon, like I'm doing right now, you can spend, rather than 10 minutes throwing a rushed video together, you can spend 3 hours of the day outlining, brainstorming some ideas for several videos, and then smashing them out one after the other. And it's not like the quality decreases by batching. It actually lends itself to increased quality most of the time, especially when you're in a good state and you've prepared for it and you've exercised and you're feeling fresh and clean, to batch this stuff out and just do it one after the other, because your brain is not jumping from one type of task to the next. Your brain is in this window, this time block, dedicated to a particular activity that is going to encourage creativity, because you're allowing your brain to kind of relax into the flow of doing a lot of stuff. And your brain will probably surprise you in terms of how much it can come up with, especially when you batch. So by batching, you're going to create a lot of content that you can then accumulate into a kind of bank that makes sure that you're ready for the publishing date when it comes along. And you can apply this batching approach to articles, videos, podcasts, and whatever you do. I mean, obviously this will apply in slightly different dynamics and ways to whatever it is that you're creating. But think about how these 3 tips around productivity can help you, and how it can fit and be incorporated into your own life in such a way that you multiply, even 10x your productivity right now. So to run over again, to summarize, first of all, have a publishing schedule that's crystal clear, that shows you in advance when things get done by and when they get published by or completed by. Then have human accountability, so someone to hold you accountable, make sure that stuff gets done, and if you can incorporate money into it as a something that you might risk losing if you don't publish in time. The last part is the batching. So you don't have to do this, but this can really help you accumulate a lot of content in advance so that you're not constantly rushed, and you're in a better ideal state during the batching process, and you're more creative, and you'll find that you'll be able to get much more done with less brain power and actually less time, because there's less switching about from different types of activities. You can cram it all into a short, a couple of hours perhaps, to create more content. Hope that makes sense, guys. Hope that really helps you, and I want to make sure that you subscribe if you like this kind of thing, because I'll be showing more about productivity and staying present, increasing energy levels and all the good stuff. So do like this video if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one.